family, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I am walking you through some exercises that I used this week during student orientation to engage students in conversations around empathy. How do you define empathy? What is your definition of empathy? And how can we be more empathetic as we continue to build an inclusive, collaborative school community? Much of the resources that you will see in this video I gathered from my school, so I didn't have to go outside and look too much for anything. Take it, use it for your needs. May it do for you what it has done for me. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to walk you through some of these slides that I uploaded to Nearpod and used it to engage students in conversations around empathy. Thank you so much for watching. As always, each one, reach one, teach one. See you soon in another video and see you at the end of this video. Love and blessings. Stay tuned. We are in Nearpod. There was a PowerPoint that was created by content creators of the school's curriculum. They made a curriculum on empathy, and I took it and modified it to meet students' needs. So here I placed a lovely GIF here to just demonstrate for students what empathy can look like. Doesn't mean that all ways of being empathetic includes us touching or being affectionate to someone, but this is one way we can show that empathy, right? I see you, I feel you, I empathize with you, here's a hug. So I started my slide out this way. From there, we move into a question. This is an introduction to empathy. Can you think of a time when you wished that someone understood how you felt? And I've converted it also into Spanish for my multilingual speakers, my bilingual speakers. Can you think of a time when you wish that someone understood how you felt? This is a perfect opportunity for students to share out. It's a great opportunity for conversation. From this slide, we move into some directions. Okay, so after we engage in about a 5-minute conversation with students saying, yes, they can think of a moment when something has happened to them and they wish they were understood. We used examples, for example, maybe a conflict with your friend. You had a conflict with your friend. How did you feel in that moment? And what did you want for your friend to understand? Or maybe it was a conflict between someone you really liked. Or maybe it was a conflict with your guardian, with your parent, and not understanding what it means and feels to be a teenager, wanting to be understood in that way. So we threw some examples out. Scholars were able to share, unmute themselves, and share on the line. This was a remote exercise, as students are still remote at this moment. And should it have been in person, it would have been the same thing. After that discussion, students will engage in a yes or no activity for different examples of empathy, what empathy can look like. After viewing the following slides, write down the statement and answer yes or no for each of these. I often think about other people's feelings. Students will write yes or no. I don't make fun of other people because I can imagine what it feels like to be in their shoes. Students will write yes or no. I listen to others about what they're going through. I try to understand other people's point of view. Again, students will write yes or no. And you can add your own in here as well and have the students comment yes or no to the different examples. I am aware that not everyone reacts to situations the way that I do. I'm aware that not everyone feels the same way that I do about situations. I'm aware that not everyone would do the same things that I would do in certain situations. Yes or no. And once the students have completed the yes or no, you will ask them to reflect on this. If they have more yeses than no, then that means that, they are on path. They are already demonstrating empathy in their lives, and we can always be better. If students have more no's than yes, then this is a great opportunity for students to be mindful that cultivating more empathy is necessary in order to build community. Put yourself in someone else's shoes. This activity involves character cards, and I'll get into that shortly. All of you should have received a character card. For the rest of this activity, you will act as this character. You're going to pair up. Each person will receive a character. So either their characters, you will create them. Maybe it is that Marcus is a pro football player for the school. He just recently got injured. He cannot play on the team at this moment, and we have a whole bunch of recruiters that are coming in to offer scholarships for the students. And Marcus was working really hard to get a scholarship, but now that he's injured, he does not qualify. How would you show empathy to Marcus? Or you can have an activity where Peter had studied really hard for his exam and took his test. Unfortunately, he scored lower than he would have liked to, and because of this, he is not able to join the debate club. How would you empathize with Peter? Different scenarios like this you would create for the students in order to see how they would demonstrate empathy towards each other. You can create these examples, and then students would switch roles. So each person, depending on the number of students that you have, each person would have a character. You put them in groups of two. One person would share their character, the other person demonstrates empathy, and then the roles switch. And these are some great ways for you to have students to engage in empathetic conversations. And so the students will discuss with the partner that they worked with. Discuss with your partner. How do you think your partner showed empathy? How did it make you feel? What could they have done differently in order for you to feel that they empathized more with you? These are some questions to have students think about. What does empathy look like for themselves? What does empathy look like from their partners? How would they like for someone to empathize with them? And that's the intro to empathy activity. And so, at the end of the activity, if you're in a physical classroom together, everyone can stand up and they'll go around the class sharing about what they learned about empathy. If someone shared what the other person shared, they'll sit down. This is a great way to have students, get active, sit up, stand up, a great little wake up, break out of the monotony exercise. But if you're online, you can have students just share out one by one what it is that they have learned from practicing empathy in this activity. And students who share the same responses can go ahead and turn their cameras off. And students who are still sharing, they'll have their cameras on. And you can modify this however you desire. I try not to tell students to turn their cameras off because once they do, it's kind of hard to get them to turn it back on. But the choice is yours. So part 2 would be to have students define empathy. What does empathy mean to you? You can start it off with some type of warm-up activity. In this activity, I walked students through a game of charades, blind charades. One partner would describe an item and the other partner had to guess what it is, put themselves in the shoes of someone who would be not able to see, lacking vision, and try to feel how you would feel if these were your shoes. So one student describes an image, an object, and the other student would guess what that is. It's an empathetic activity, virtual blind charades. Here's a mix of random images that I put together just in case students weren't able to find any images around them or any objects around them to describe. They could use something from this picture here. At the end of the activity, students share out. I love to put these little gifts inside the Nearpod to just engage students some more. Students would be able to share out on what was frustrating about the experience. Was there frustration about the experience? Was it easy? Was it difficult? How does it feel? How did it feel to be in those shoes? They're going to reflect, what was your experience? What was your role? How did it feel to be the blindfolded or the blind participant? What is it like to be the director, the person who was describing? How did that feel to you? And having to describe it in a way that your partner would understand. What frustrations did you experience? What worked? What didn't work? How did you discover these? Did any one person take charge over the whole activity? Was it a shared experience? Was this exercise easy or hard? A great opportunity for reflection and discussion. And then you can ask students to define for you, what is their definition of empathy? And they would go ahead and post in the collaborative board here. You can find video resources online to support your lesson on empathy. And then you would have students at the end of your video discuss what was important about the video that was watched. Why is empathy valuable? How can empathy be cultivated or be learned? What are the different types of empathy? And then students will have a wholesome discussion at the end about how the exercises or the activities helped them to understand empathy better and help them to learn a new skill or a new way in which they can be empathetic to someone else or be more mindful of how they engage with each other in order to build an inclusive and supportive and collaborative school community. So thank you guys so much for watching. This was a quick intro to empathy activity, and you can build on this by having students define empathy and play games around empathy in order to build that empathetic muscle. Intro to empathy. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. As always, please share the resource. Share the resource. Each one, reach one, teach one. Thank you for your likes, your comment, and your subscribe. Let me know how this resource has helped you in building empathy with your students. Thank you for supporting with the channel's goals. See you soon in another video. Remember, 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watched hour. Thank you.